How quickly can you get your first bookkeeping client? What's a typical week look like as a bookkeeping business owner? How do you plan on growing your business? How can I start a bookkeeping business if I'm still working a full-time job? These are all questions that I've just got recently, and in this video, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to take all these questions that I've got in the comments in my YouTube videos through email, and I'm going to attempt to answer all of these questions right now. So if you've been following along, every single day I make a new video about starting and growing a bookkeeping business. My name is Zach Pasquarello, and I have had a successful bookkeeping business for the past 3 years. My only goal with making all of these videos is just to help you start a bookkeeping business and grow your bookkeeping business. I've learned a lot over the past 3 years, and I just want to share my experience and my knowledge with everybody out there. If you want to schedule a one-on-one consultation with me, there's a link in the description below. You can schedule a meeting, and I would love to work with you. And also, if you have any questions, ask me questions in the comments, send me emails. You can find my email address on my website, harrisburgbookkeeping.com. Ask me questions. I would love to answer your questions, and I'd love to help you. Okay, so the first question I'm going to answer today, a gentleman named Sean sent me an email recently, and he asked, is there any up-to-date database you suggest for getting trucking company lists for calling? So I assume this person is looking to reach out to trucking companies to try to do their bookkeeping. First of all, I want to address the idea of a niche or no niche. What I mean by niche is having a specific group of clients, having a specific category of clients. So in the very beginning, if you don't have any bookkeeping clients, I don't think it's a good idea for you to have a niche. So if you are looking to target restaurant owners or trucking companies or advertising agencies or real estate investors, that's fine. You can tailor your marketing content to those specific categories of business owners. But in the very beginning, if you don't have any clients or if you have less than 5 clients, I would encourage you, do not focus on a niche. I know other people might disagree with that, but here's my reason for saying don't have a niche. Imagine right now you have 2 bookkeeping clients and you're struggling to find more. Imagine a restaurant owner calls you up and says, hey, I need bookkeeping, and you respond with, oh, sorry, I only work with real estate investors. I don't work with restaurant owners. To me, that just sounds silly. Like, you only have 2 clients. Why in the world would you turn away the potential to get your 3rd client just because they are not in your particular niche? So having a niche later on down the road, to me, that sounds like a great idea. Once you have 20 or 30 clients, once you have enough income that you can quit your full-time job, you can support your family, you can pay all your bills, then sure, then you can stop taking on new clients that are outside your niche once you have enough clients. So in the beginning, I would not recommend having a niche, but once you get all of the clients that you need, then you can start focusing on having a niche for acquiring new clients above and beyond what you already need. So to answer your question, Sean, you can certainly pay for a list of a particular group of companies. Like, I don't know specifically what website has a list of trucking companies for calling them to solicit their business, but I guarantee you can maybe go to the FMCSA website and find a list of new authorities. I know there's a bunch of lists out there. You're not going to get it for free, but I'm sure you can pay for a list of businesses. However, you cannot replace hard work. There are no shortcuts in this business. So you're not going to be able to just pay for a list and then all of a sudden you have a list of 1,000 companies and you call them up and you're going to get a bunch of business. It's not going to work like that. I would be hesitant to pay for a list because a lot of times these lists are outdated and have the incorrect contact information on them. You cannot replace hard work. The one thing you can do is you can go to Google. It's a great search engine. You can find any business out there on Google. You can go to Google Maps and you can look up, like, let's say you live in Baltimore. You can go to Google Maps, you can look at the city of Baltimore, and you can type in electricians. And all of a sudden, you're going to get a list of 50 electricians in the city of Baltimore. Or you could look up trucking company in the city of Baltimore on Google Maps, and right there, for free, in real time, accurate information, you can get a list of 50 or 100 trucking companies or electricians in the city of Baltimore. That's what I did whenever I was whenever I was doing cold calls. I looked up general contractors, electricians, plumbers, in my area on Google Maps, and I just went through the list and I called them all. Also, Facebook groups is a great place to find real people connected with businesses. So you can find like actual business owners in Facebook groups. If you go to the list of members in a Facebook group, you can sort through all of the members and you can actually see oftentimes their job title underneath their name in the list of members in Facebook groups. So check out Facebook groups, check out Google pages. Sure, you could buy a list, but like I said, you cannot replace hard work when it comes to cold calling customers. Okay, Sean's second question is, what is the soonest that you can get your first bookkeeping client? I'll tell you, for me, I started my bookkeeping business in October 2020. Like, started from scratch, very beginning, October 2020. I took a bookkeeping course, I got my website, I logged into QuickBooks.com for the very first time, started from scratch October 2020, and then I got my very first bookkeeping client December 2020. So exactly 2 months after I started my business, I got my very first client. I will tell you, I worked really, really hard in those first 2 months. I did a lot of social media content. I did a lot of cold calls. I did a lot of emails. I did a lot of direct messages on social media. I put in a lot of work, a lot of marketing, a lot of sales to get that first client, but it's possible. 2 months and you can go from nothing to your first client. Okay, now a person named Calpack posted recently a comment on one of my videos, and that person asked, what's an average work week look like for you? Now me, I am a full-time business owner. I own and I run my bookkeeping business. So in a week, pretty much the week is just made up of my 5 days, and every single day is pretty much the same for me. I don't have a lot of variation. So I'll just go through like a typical day as a bookkeeping business owner for me personally. So every day is pretty much the same. So I start work at 8 a.m. I take my kids to school at 7:30 and I start work at 8 a.m. I usually make some social media content right at 8 a.m. And then like from 8:20 to 9, I check emails, I respond to emails, then I kind of get my day started, do a little bit of bookkeeping, just getting started. And then from 9 to 10, I typically, I have a list of clients that I work on every single day. So I have like 30 clients. There's 5 days in the week. So I typically work on like 6 clients every single day. So from 9 to 10, I just start chipping away at those 6 clients. I log into their QuickBooks. I start categorizing their transactions. I'll send them emails if I have any questions. And then typically from like 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, I make a YouTube video. So I've been making a video every single day teaching other people how to do bookkeeping. So from 10 to 11, after my coffee kicks in, while my energy is still high, I'll make a YouTube video, I'll record it, I'll upload it, I'll edit it. And then from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock, maybe I'll have a meeting with a client, or maybe I'll have a sales call with a prospective client. If I don't have any meetings, I'll just continue doing my bookkeeping. I'll continue working on those monthly recurring bookkeeping clients from 11 to 12. And then from 12 to 2, I'll go to the gym, I'll work out, and then I'll take my lunch break. And then from 2 to 5, it's pretty much the same thing. Like, I'm either in meetings with current clients, or maybe I'm working on some bulk cleanups. Like, pretty much every single month I have somebody asking me to do like a 2022 cleanup or a 2021 cleanup, or hey, can you reconcile all of my accounts from last year? So I'm either working on a big cleanup project, or I'm working on my monthly bookkeeping clients, or I am also taking a college class. I'm working on my master's degree in accounting. So in the afternoons, typically, once I finish all of my bookkeeping work, I will start working on my homework for my one online college class. Okay, so Calpack, you also asked, where do you see the business going? And truthfully, it's been 3 years. It's been just me for the past 3 years. I would love to hire a full-time employee. And what that means for me is I need to be okay with losing $40,000 per year, pretty much. Because if I'm going to hire somebody full-time, I'm probably going to pay them $30,000 to $40,000 a year. So I know it's difficult. Like, let's just say, for example, right now I'm at $100,000. I would need to make a $40,000 sacrifice. So I would need to accept going from $100,000 net income for my business down to $60,000 net income for my business, with the understanding that hiring a full-time employee hopefully enables me to skyrocket my growth. So maybe I'm at $100,000 this year minus the full-time employee. So this year I'm only making $60,000, but hopefully next year I'm able to make, 140. Next, the year after that, 180. Hire somebody else, 200,000. So I need to be willing to sacrifice some of my income to bring on a full-time employee. That way I can grow and scale my business. I haven't made that step yet, but that is the plan. Hopefully this year I get to a point where I can hire a full-time employee. The thing that I always tell people, and I need to take my own advice, is that you want to hire somebody before you absolutely need to have that person. So it's difficult because you never know what timing is going to be like. You never know where your business is going to be in a year. Maybe I lose half of my clients and all of a sudden I can't even afford to pay somebody. So it is really tough because I don't know where my business is going to be. I always tell people you want to hire somebody before you really need that person, because the last thing I want is for me to be swamped with so much work that I can't even do my work, and now I don't even have enough time to train somebody because I'm just putting out fires constantly. So before you get so busy that you can't even train someone, that's the best time to hire somebody before you really need them. That way, whenever you get really busy, they are already onboarded, they already know the processes, and they're already in place to help you handle the increased workload of getting busier. Calpac also asked, how can you optimize? How can I optimize my business? Probably my biggest challenge right now is communicating with my clients. So I have questions on a weekly basis. Like if they write checks and I don't have access to their bank account, then I have to ask them, hey, this check that you wrote last week, who did you pay and what did you buy? So I'm constantly asking my clients questions on a weekly basis, and I'm also asking for documents like their bank statements and their loan origination documents, their HUD statements for real estate investors, and their bills of sale if they're acquiring assets. So I'm constantly communicating with my clients and asking them questions, and sometimes I feel like I'm more of a burden on my clients than I'm actually helping them because I have so many questions that they need to answer, and I do need to optimize my communication with them. I need to come up with a better system for asking questions and gathering information from my clients. The last two questions you asked were, what can you automate and how can you grow? Those two questions I think are pretty similar to where do I see my business going? How can I grow? I already said I want to hire a full-time employee, and what can I automate? So that's my thought process with hiring a full-time employee. I want to get to a point where if I onboard a new bookkeeping client, then my full-time employee just does all of their bookkeeping. So let's say I charge $200 a month for bookkeeping. I would love to pay my full-time employee or maybe an independent contractor like $100 a month to do that bookkeeping. That way I can make $100 a month for doing no work. So I just onboard the client, I have the business, I have the name, I have the marketing, I have the back office support, and I get $100 for acquiring the client and having the client, and then I pay somebody $100 to do all of the work on a monthly basis. So that's how I want to automate. That's how I want to grow my business. Okay, wrapping up this video, Jason Abshire wrote in the comments, if you have any advice around starting and running this business alongside a full-time job, I'd love to hear it. Hard to imagine scheduling meetings with clients when I'm at work all day. Will scheduling calls or meetings during the evenings and weekends work until I can go full-time with the business? So Jason, I'll tell you this. Business owners actually prefer evenings and weekends for meetings because business owners are busy all day during the day running their business. So if you're offering weekends and evenings for meetings, that's honestly probably going to be preferred for a lot of your clients. So that's not an issue. I would recommend be careful telling prospective clients that you still have a full-time job. I'm not going to tell you to lie to your clients. Like, never lie to your clients and tell them that you don't have a full-time job. If you do, just try to avoid talking about it because it makes it seem like you're not very serious about your bookkeeping business. It makes it seem like you're not fully committed. I'm not saying you aren't, but it just gives the perspective that you're not taking it very seriously because it's not your full-time business, which is understandable in the beginning because you don't have any clients, so you're not in a position to quit your full-time job yet. Just avoid the topic entirely if you can, and just tell them that right now you don't have any availability during the day, but you do have availability in the evenings on the weekends. I think that's fine. I don't think you'll have any issues. I was able to work mostly with my clients via email anyway. Like, most of them don't even really have time to meet with you, but if they do want to meet with you, I'm sure evenings and weekends would be fine. And also for me, I did it for the first 5 months. So from October to March, October 2020 to March 2021, I had a full-time job while I was starting my bookkeeping business. And I was able to get, I think, like 5 or 7 monthly recurring clients in those first 5 months while I still had my full-time job. So it's totally doable. I would 100% recommend do not quit your full-time job until you have at least 5 to 10 bookkeeping clients and until you have at least enough money saved up to last 3 to 6 months. Because the last thing I want is for you to quit your full-time job, run your bookkeeping business, and then all of a sudden you lose all of your money and you have to go back and get a full-time job because you quit your job too soon. You don't have any money coming in from your bookkeeping business. So definitely keep your job until you are 100% confident that you can quit your job and run your bookkeeping business full-time. But it's totally doable. It's totally possible. I did it for 5 months, and it's the way I recommend everybody get started.